Stitches of love we sew. In this online world we come to grow. Mom and Pop Quilt Shop, where hearts align. Let's embrace the craft and let our souls shine.
Hey everyone, welcome to Weekend Project. I'm Laura Lind of the Mama Pop Quilt Shop, and we're going to make a carpet for the side of my bed out of some panels that I have. So this was actually a very inexpensive panel that I ended up picking up here for the quilt shop. I actually have lots, so if anybody's interested, please let me know. And I had about 3.5 of them that I wanted to use for this project. That's why I bought them, is to be able to play around and have some fun with fabric, because it was cheap fabric at that point in time, right? So what I did is I sliced them up. So I sliced them up both ways actually, and I butted them end to end. I didn't do the angle crosswise on them, and I ended up cutting my strips at 3 inches. Okay. Now I am going to sew these flat edge together, so it just gave me a little bit more real estate, I guess, to work with the pieces being flat. So I'm not going to turn this into a round carpet or an oval carpet. They're just going to be strips sewn next to each other, and that's what's going to make the carpet. Okay, so as you can tell, it's 1, 2, 3 inches wide, and then my batting, which I of course have a plethora here at the quilt shop left over from bits and bobs. It cut anywhere between 2 1/4 and 2 1/2 ish, and I just ended up threading them in between. So I get to show you a part that's already been here. So what I did is I folded my fabric in half to give me a center, and then in that center I laid down a piece of batting. It just goes just like this. Okay. And then you take those 2 raw edges and you pop them right in the center. And then you take those 2 folded edges and put them together. Now this is where I found these clips to be like the bomb diggity. They were so handy. And then you can just kind of help guide this one as well and put a little clip in it. That way your piece size stays consistent. And then I just did a top stitch right along the edge. I use a bunch of threads that I have left over and big spools that I know I don't necessarily want to quilt with, but I could definitely like piece together with. And then for the zigzagging part of the bits together, I do have a lot of like long arm bobbin threads that just end up with just a little bit of color left on them. So I don't mind using them up for this project. The whole point is to reduce, reuse, recycle. I'll put those there so you can get a better look. Okay. And I just use up the extra color that we have on there, see? Okay. Camera. Okay. And then we just tuck it in, and then we just sew it down. And then what we're going to end up doing is I cut my strips because I want a specific length for my carpet. I want it to go under my bedside table, next to me, and then a little bit past where I get in and out of bed. Of course, Sophie walks across that spot all the time, and the reason why I wanted the carpet is to pick up all the little gravel bits that seem to come off of her paws, that particular spot. So once you put your batting in here and you sew it up, you're good to go. And then you got your little strips, and you're just going to put them, I put them with a sewn edge to a rounded edge. And then just did a zigzag here on my machine. I do a 3.8 and a 3.5. Of course, you can do whatever you like. You just want to make sure you're grabbing a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B as you're putting those 2 together, okay? And that's what we're going to do. We're just going to sew a bunch. I hopefully have enough. I had 115 feet of material to work with once I got it there. The guess was whether I was going to run out of batting before I ran out of my cut fabric, and I clearly ran out of my cut fabric before I ran out of my batting, so I have more for later. That's always good fun. Okay, let's put that up to the side, and I'll show you. This is how we're going to put these together. Okay, so once you got your favorite little zigzag stitch that you're just going to get a little bit from A and B, I like to line up my ends all the way. Go all the way, and I'm flipping and flopping the fabric. I'm not keeping it in sequence or anything like that, just because we're making a carpet here. It's going to be fun. It doesn't matter to me what it looks like. Take the 2 ends and I put a clip. I put one of the bigger clips. Okay, I put one of the bigger clips together. We're just going to hold it. Okay, so it becomes one. And then what I do is to use these fabrics, I just like load it through the machine, pop it in a little cup, load it through the machine, then just use up and then keep going and going and going and going. Now once you have those two pieces together, just going to kind of slide them so they're even. Okay, I kind of toss them over my shoulder or kind of tuck them in front or off to the side. And then you want to make sure they're both feeding evenly into the machine underneath the foot. So a walking foot definitely helps with this. If you're finding that you're getting about halfway and one's a little bit longer than the other, you may have to try to give it a little bit of scooching forward, whichever either one, or like scooching on one and tugging on the other to make sure they kind of stay lined up. This is going to help keep your, like, you know, more, I'm trying to make it like 60 inches approximately. If I have to trim it up a little bit, I'm fine with that. So, but I tried to overshoot. So, okay. So you just kind of make sure the zigzag is going down in one, coming up and going down in the other, and that's going to put those two pieces together, as you can see here. Okay. Just like that. And it may require just a little bit of, you know, keeping steady and even at the back as you feed it in. So this is going to take some time, so we will see you when we have more of the strips done and we're finishing up the carpet. Once we have finished all the strips necessary to make the rug or carpet, whatever you want to call it, I have put them up on the board just to see, to make sure it was going to have enough width of what I'm looking for. I have 31 strips here at 60 inches long, and just put them 2 by 2 up here. So we're going to do a little, each one zigzagging them together to get the carpet finished. Okay. All right, once we've gotten all of our strips together, so in 2 by 2, 4 by 4, you know, so on and so forth, to get ourselves our nice big chunk, we're going to take those two pieces that I have that I've created and I'm going to put them together to finish making the rug. And we're just going to finish zigzagging here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to trim it. That's why we cut it bigger and longer than what we needed, because we know how fabric works. And it's no matter, even if we had all the pieces cut the same size, they're never going to be the end up on the same size on the other end. So this is our end that we're going to need to trim up. And then we're going to add a little end cover. Okay, I'll show you there. So let's go here. And then so here's our end. Of course, it's higgledy-piggledy and hoggedy-poggedy all over the place. Of course, you can definitely be giving this some heat loving as you're going along. This is just going to be a carpet for my side of the bed and for, you know, for Sophie and I to pretty much walk on. So I will end up ironing it, but, you know, at the moment it's, you know, it's okay. Well, now what I want to do is to make sure this is going to be a nice clean edge to add our little binding on. And you can choose to have a little strip of fabric left over from your project to save for that. I just went and grabbed some white that matches. So now I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to try and line it up on my mat to have like these edges here to try and be as straight as possible. And I'm going to find a nice spot that I can kind of even it all off. Okay. That one seems good. And now we want to make sure we're pressing down hard because we are going to go through a few labels, but labels, I don't know where labels come from, a few strips and the thickness. So, but be careful, but don't go all crazy and, you know, go for your hand or anything like that. So even pressure down, and then just kind of either giving that index finger a little bit extra strength or just pushing straight down and giving me a little wibble back and forth. And I tried to go to the shortest spot so I had the least amount of waste. Okay, you can see that that's all that kind of came off. I just evened it up a bit. Now here's a little bit. That's okay because what this is going to cover, right? So we just want to take our piece here, pop that off to the side, fold that in just a little bit, maybe about 1/2 inch. Okay, and we're just gonna clip that there. Then use a few of these little clips to sew down. Well, not sew down, but hold it while we sew it. Here, give it about 1 inch, 1/2 inch, fold it in, And then we'll just stitch right down there, and then we'll flip it over and do another sew. There we go. So that's the original, the sew down, and then we flip, and then we go sew to the other side, and that finishes our project. Okay. And then you've made yourself an awesome personalized rug for your space. Now, maybe a little wobbly, but with some ironing, it'll be just fine. And you know, and a wash and having it sit in its environment too will also flatten it out. So, I hope you make one. Use your stash. Use that some of that ugly fabric. Cut it up. Put it with other bits. Make yourself a nice little rug for your space. Not all of them have to be circular. I find that you have the flattest spot possible. Like if you've got a little tray that pops out onto here for like a quilting space, definitely be using that to help aid you in the process. Okay, so thank you for watching, liking, and subscribing. Don't forget to, you know, give a thumbs up and all the good things. And I want to know if you make them. Okay, take care, have fun, and we'll see you soon. By the way, if you're interested in this panel, let me know. It'll be on our store. Take care.